I feel like I should do this one first. So, what to do not in science? 80-year-old man pleads guilty to genetically engineering giant hybrid sheep in an audacious scheme. Arthur Jack Skolbarth pleads guilty to 2 federal wildlife crimes. We're now on the biology side of things. I'm gonna absolutely. A Montana man pled guilty before a federal judge to 2 felony wildlife crimes for an almost decade-long effort to create giant sheep hybrids to sell the species to hunting facilities. The U.S. Department of Justice announced this week. 80-year-old author Jack Schubarth von Montana is the owner and operator of Sun River Enterprises, LLC, also known as Schubarth Ranch, a 215-acre alternative livestock ranch. Schubarth Jack, I'm just gonna, conspired with at least 5 other individuals between 2013 and 2021 to genetically engineer a larger sheep hybrid species that would garner higher prices from shooting preserves, according to the release, which cites court documents in his case. This was an audacious scheme to create a massive hybrid sheep species to be sold and hunted as trophies. Assistant Attorney General Todd Kim of the Justice Department's Environment and Natural Resources Division. Jack faces maximum penalty of 5 years in prison and a fine up to $250,000 for each count. To genetically engineer the sheep species, Jack imported parts of Marco Polo and Gali sheep, which is the largest sheep species in the world, from Kyrgyzstan? Without declaring importation. Jack sent genetic material from the sheep to a lab to create cloned embryos, which he then implanted into a female sheep on his ranch, which produced a single pure genetic male that Jack named the Montana Mountain King. To create several hybrid sheep, Jack then used MMK semen to artificially impregnate various species of sheep, the DOJ said. The kind of crime we uncovered could threaten the integrity of our wildlife species here in Montana. Jack and the unnamed conspirators wanted to sell the larger, more valuable genetically hybrid sheep to captive hunting facilities, primarily in Texas. In order to move the hybrid sheep across straight lines, Jack forged veterinary inspection certificates, falsely claiming the sheep were legally permitted species. Jack also sold MMK's semen directly to sheep breeders outside of Montana, according to the DOJ, and illegally obtained genetic material from the wild-hunted Rocky Mountain bighorn sheep in Montana for interstate commerce. On Tuesday, Jack pleaded guilty before a federal judge in Great Falls, Montana, to conspiracy to violate the Lacey Act and substantively violating the Lacey Act. In pursuit of this scheme, Jack violated international law, the Lacey Act, both which protect the viability and health of native populations of animals. The Lacey Act prohibits the trade in wildlife, fish, and plants that have been legally taken, possessed, transport, or sold. Okay. I just found it amusing that... Alright! Reddish sea creature! With over 70 feet found by submarine. It's a new species. We should put this one on. Scientists on board a submarine piloted themselves through the depths of the South China Sea. As they searched the murky blue waters, they spotted a reddish sea creature covered in dozens of appendages. It turned out to be a new species. Researchers explored the South China Sea during a series of 5 dives in manned submersible vehicles between 2018 and 2023, according to a study published March 20th in the peer-reviewed journal Zoo Keys. During one of these deep-sea dives, researchers found an unfamiliar reddish-looking sea cucumber, the study said. They carefully collected the unusual animal and preserved it. Back on the surface, the researchers looked more closely at the sea cucumber and realized they discovered a new species. I'm gonna murder this name so much. The one row Fanta Bronealuta, or the brown ring sea cucumber. The brown ring sea cucumber can reach about 8 inches in length and about 2 inches in width, the study says. It has an elongated tube shape with 20 tentacles, fun, and over 70 tube feet. The sea cucumbers use these feet-like projections to suction onto the surfaces and move around, according to the University of Hawaii. It's kind of cool looking. The photo shows the reddish coloring of the brown ringed sea cucumber. From above, it looks fleshy and squishy, with worm-like extensions branching from its feet. From underneath, it has several rows of shorter and stubbier feet with dark brown tips. Researchers said they named the new species after the Latin word meaning brown rings, because of the distinctive brown rings of the sea cucumber's 2 feet. The brown ring sea cucumber was found at a sea slope at a depth of about 4,400 feet, the study says. So far, the brown ring sea cucumber is known from one species found in the South China Sea, the study says. The South China Sea is a contested body of water in Southeastern Asia that borders Brunei, China, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Taiwan, and Vietnam. I bet they're not going to be happy that, you put Taiwan on its own versus it being a part of China. They seem to be very peculiar about that, acting like it's its own thing. New species was identified by its 2 feet, tentacles, and other subtle physical features. The DNA analysis found the new species had at least 8% genetic divergence from another sea cucumbers. The team also discovered 2 more new species of sea cucumbers. Yellow white one and an orange one. I'm sorry if I can't say. Oh, it's Zhao! Zhao, go! You were under the sea. That's your last name. Yulu, Zhao, and Haibin Zhang. I'm sorry if I slaughtered your name. I repeat. All right, large dragon-like creature. Why can't we make peace with both of them? Why can't we make peace with both of them? Why does this have to be an either-or situation? Because I like both, but it's really according to what's happening that day. Because ice cream is good when you can eat it inside on a hot day. Well, ice pops are nice when you can eat it outside on a hot day. Both. Large dragon-like creature able to change color is discovered as a new species. Along the hilly road in Myanmar was a dragon-like creature. A large pregnant animal went about its morning, or tried to. Scientists spotted the colorful animal and captured it. It turned out to be a new species. Researchers wanted to study Dawn's forest lizard, a species of dragon lizard that supposedly lives in northeastern India, Myanmar, and southwestern China, according to the study published March 7th in the peer-reviewed journal Vertebrate Zoology. Researchers suspected that the Dawn's forest lizards were actually several species being inaccurately lumped together, the study said. Intrigued, the scientists started comparing lizards from each of the regions and noticed some patterns. The dragon-like lizards from western Myanmar had different body proportions and scale patterns. Researchers realized they discovered a new species. Tots? Idinia? Or the emerald dragon lizard. Emerald dragon lizard, but yeah, I choose both. Emerald dragon lizards are considered large, reaching just over 16 inches in length, the study says. They have narrow heads with a Y shape, black marks across their eyelids, 2 rows of spikes running down their back, and the tails are long and slender. Okay, yeah, see the Y. Photos show some emerald. The photos above show some emerald dragon lizards. Overall, the lizards have a bright, almost lime green coloring. When stressed, the lizards can drastically change color, becoming brownish black, researchers said. Emerald dragon lizards are likely tree dwellers, but were found along a road. During morning hours, the study says. Some female lizards were found pregnant, indicating the species breeds in July. Researchers said they named the new species Dia, Greek word for emerald, because of its bright green coloring. So far, emerald dragon lizards have only been found in the Chin state would that be Queen state? In Myanmar? Because I know that since that's around China, this state also is border with India and Bangladesh. The new species was identified by its spikes, scale pattern, body proportions, coloring, and other subtle physical features, the study said. DNA analysis found the new species has at least 11% genetic divergence from other species of dragon lizard. Research team included Kaiwang Vtuber, L.E. Grismer, Shou Lua, I'm sorry, I repeat. I was slaughtering every other name too. Anyways, thousands of eels found dead in New Zealand, and it's not the first time. Over 3,500 juvenile eels, elvers, have found dead in the Karituta stream in the northernmost flank of New Zealand's North Island. It's the second mass eel death in New Zealand this year, with thousands of dead eels found a month ago in another stream at the opposite end of the country. While the first mass eel death event was attributed directly to a toxic pollutant that caused the death, the cause of death for the juveniles is not immediately clear. Authorities are investigating, but there are signs that environmental changes could be behind it. Hona Edwards, a member of the local group that protects the stream, noticed a decline in the stream's water quality in recent years. After the mass elver deaths were discovered, Edwards tested the waterways upstream and downstream and found none of the analyzed parameters were within their usual range, including levels of dissolved oxygen. We noticed some algae buildup in which generally is due to stream water warming up. There's Then there's the biggest percentage of the stream was observed to range from very limited to no water. When there's no water, the dissolved oxygen reduces and the toxins build up in the waterway. While the cause is to be confirmed and toxins and disease still all need to be ruled out, this event is only the latest in a spat of mass fish deaths across our planet. Some 1,200 metric tons, or about 1,300 tons of sardines and mackerels were discovered floating on the shores of Japan in December last year. The previous June, thousands of dead fish washed up on the Texas Gulf Coast. Last month, one of Australia's largest rivers was smothered by millions of rotting fish carcasses. In 2022, 300 tons of fish corpses clogged the Oder River between Poland and Germany. It's natural for mass fish die-offs to happen occasionally, but in 2022, a study across the lakes of Minnesota and Wisconsin found that they have increased in frequency over the past decade. While these events get reported as isolated incidents, many appear to share the similar patterns pointing to human disturbances. Reduced water volumes or flows from agricultural use and droughts, coupled with increasing nutrients from pollutants as well as warmer temperatures, are all fueling excess algal blooms that deprive waters of oxygen and suffocating the other life within. While newborn baby eels have a very low expected survival rate, the juvenile eels found in the stream had already passed the majority of their obstacles in their migration to the ocean when they succumbed. The Cawthorne Institute freshwater ecologist Simon Stewart says, once they make it out to open waters, they travel to tropical regions to reproduce and can live up to 52 years. To prevent cutting so many animals' lives short, we need to be mindful of how we use our waterways and better regulate the pollutants they are exposed to and take steps to reduce our climate impact. If we let warming continue, marine heat waves will become more common and more intense. And there'll be more of these kinds of die-offs. Victoria University of Wellington climate scientist James Renwick told National Geographic last year after the Texas and Australian events, we need to stop burning fossil fuels immediately or as soon as we can because these problems are only going to get worse. You still there, Haru? Or are you fading out? Because this is the one that I mentioned about farming. Mainly because I also like blueberries. And I can remember okay, in the South, sometimes if they aren't related to us, we still call them aunts beforehand. If they're close family friends. I can remember going on one of my aunt's farms and she had a bunch of blueberry bushes and picking them straight from the chickens everywhere. I chased down that chicken until it was tired. Companion planting is a popular garden technique that involves growing specific plants near each other to benefit one or both plants. Blueberry companion plants can provide various advantages to encourage growth of your blueberry plants, such as besides the fact that we're also doing a bunch of Tree Valley stuff, might as well, such as attracting pollinators, retaining soil moisture, and providing essential nutrients like nitrogen. By strategically selecting certain plants to grow alongside your blueberry shrubs, you can also maximize the space in your garden and create some visual appeal. Here's some 15 blueberry companions that will help foster growth in your garden. 1. Mint. Mint can be an excellent blueberry companion plant for a variety of reasons. Mint, for example, is an especially aromatic herb, and the scent serves as a repellent for common garden pests like aphids, as well as insects that specifically target blueberry bushes like blueberry maggot. Mint can also attract bees and other pollinators to help your blueberries grow. Cranberries. As one might suspect, cranberries and blueberries have many similar qualities, including growth conditions. These blueberries companion plants are natural additions to your garden bed, since they also prefer moist, acidic soil. In fact, there are some evidence that blueberries and cranberries planted together can encourage one another's growth. By the way, you know that you see the flooded fields of cranberries when they're collecting them? A, first of all, that's not normal, obviously. But B, the only reason why they do that is they realize that cranberries floated and it's quicker for them to, and I guess to some degree safer than using a, I don't know, they have to kind of shake the trees to get it well, the shrubs to get it off anyways, but to collect them that way, or quicker, I guess, collect them that way, is, go through, let them float to the surface and collect them that way, rather than going through each plant and picking them off. Borage. A borage is a lesser known herb. It too can provide ample benefits for your blueberry bush. This edible flower is a favorite of beneficial insects like ladybugs, as well as pollinators like wasps, which can help your blueberry plants grow plump, juicy fruit. But blueberries aren't fruit. Some research indicates borages can grow even faster in neighboring plants by adding trace minerals to the soil. Sage. It's an excellent blueberry companion. Its vibrant flowers not only attract beneficial pollinators, but they also emit an intense aroma that deters common garden pests such as flies, moths, and black flea beetles. Ferns. Several ferns, such as cinnamon fern and royal fern, grow well in acidic soil, and blueberry plants enjoy the same conditions. Additionally, both ferns and blueberries are thirsty plants. And since blueberry plants have fairly shallow root system, ferns can provide shade to help maintain moisture in the soil. As an added bonus, the delicate texture of the fern fronds provide an aesthetic complement to the blueberry bush. Lemon balm. Lemon balm can be an excellent blueberry companion plant for many of the same reasons as mint. In fact, these two fragrant herbs are members of the same family and offer many benefits such as luring pollinators and repelling harmful insects. That said, lemon balm can also be invasive, so consider growing this herb in pots near your... I was about to say that last part because my grandmother had a bunch of that and it was very invasive. Strawberries! Woo! Like cranberries, strawberries can share many of the same soil requirements as blueberries, including acidic soil and consistent water. Additionally, since both plants have a relatively shallow root system, they won't steal nutrients from each other. Onions are beneficial blueberry companions plants for similar reasons. As many fragrant herbs like mint and lemon balm, these popular veggies have an intense odor that many garden pests like. Plant onions and other yum-yums near your blueberries to repel insects like Japanese beetles and aphids, and even larger threats like deer. However, should be a warning. If you have cats, especially outdoor cats, like dogs not being able to have chocolate, cats cannot have onions or garlic or any of that kind of stuff. Any of that family. Heather is a popular ornamental shrub with tiny leaves and flowers, but it's also closely related to the blueberry plants. Heather and blueberry plants have similar needs like exposure to full sun and a preference for well-draining acidic soil, making the two of them an excellent pair for your garden. For a cherry on top, the petite flowers also add a fun pop of color. Basil. Basil is another fragrant herb that not only attracts beneficial bugs, but keeps common garden pests away from your blueberries, but it won't compete with your blueberry bush for nutrients in the soil. Basil can easily adapt to the soil conditions of blueberry plants, as well as provide a layer of shade around the base of your blueberry plants to retain moisture. Other blueberry plants. Many blueberry plants varieties are self-pollinating, but one of the more tricks to produce big plump blueberries is planting two or more types of blueberry bushes together. Cross-pollinating your blueberry plants can help increase your yield and produce the tastiest berries for all your summer treats. Rhododendrons. Like heather, rhododendrons are another flowering shrub that pairs well with blueberry bushes. For one, these beauties share the blueberry plant's love of acidic soil and full sun. Their vivid blooms can also add some aesthetic appeal to your garden, and they tend to bloom around the same time of year that blueberry plants flower, which can boost pollinator activity. Thyme. We're going through all the... Rosemary? Is rosemary going to be next? Like many aromatic herbs mentioned so far, thyme is an excellent blueberry companion plant for multiple reasons. It can draw beneficial insects like parasitic wasps to the garden, which can protect your blueberries by warding off pests. Certain varieties of thyme can also provide a form of ground cover for blueberry plants to help retain moisture and prevent weeds. Bee balm. To create the best growing conditions for blueberry bushes, you need a few key ingredients like acidic soil and an bulk sun. Another necessity is a frequent visit from pollinators like honeybees and wasps. Planting a series of native wildflowers like bee balm can help attract these beneficial bugs and encourage growth in your blueberry bushes. Chives. Oh, we're not going to do with rosemary. Huh. Chives. Also, chives are also dangerous for cats. It's the aluminium family. Aluminium. Chives are another members of the aluminium family like onions. This delicious vegetable not only deters harmful insects with its pungent aroma, but also produces stunning purple flowers which can help lure pollinators to your garden. Plants you shouldn't grow with blueberries. Nightshades. Ha! Yes, believe it or not, tomatoes are nightshades. That's the reason why the stems are actually quite poisonous. Nightshades include vegetables like tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants, where they are to enjoy full sun. They do not like acidic soil, making them poor companions for your blueberry bushes. Brassicas? Brassica vegetables including broccoli, cabbage, kale, and more. These vegetables are not great blueberry companion plants because they demand a lot of nutrients and water. Additionally, they do not share the same soil preferences as blueberry shrubs. Grasses. Some gardeners enjoy planting ornamental grasses as ground cover in their garden, but you should avoid growing these grasses near blueberry shrubs as they can overpower the plants and suck up necessary nutrients.